So we like to try a lot of new things here, and one of the wines that we've been kind of trying out the last couple of years, and it has just turned into one of our winery's perennial bestsellers, is White Merlot. And the way we get this is basically working with the Gibson Vineyard, which is about 10 miles north, and the Merlot there grows in a way that is fresh and delicious. We'd been making rosé out of it for a number of years, but we started experimenting with picking really kind of in line with a white wine, so not as long as we would let it hang for a red wine to develop more sugars and color, and then doing a direct press, so we extract the skins from the juice as quickly as possible after harvest. We end up with a juice at that point that is faintly pink, but after fermentation, most of the color is stripped out. And we end up with these gorgeous, kind of golden-hued white wines. I don't have a label on this one yet. That won't impact the flavor of the wine. This is our 2019 White Merlot. A lot of people are surprised. They say, Merlot's a red grape. How do you do it? And it really just comes down to minimizing the amount of time that the juice can be in contact with any crushed skins. In addition to our White Merlot, we did a sparkling White Merlot as well in 2019. That'll probably be released sometime in 2021. It's an outstanding wine, and it offers just a totally different experience from the other white wine, typically white wine-based sparkling wines that we make here. So let's take a look at this. When I'm looking at Merlot traditionally, the most classic note that people associate with Merlot red wines is blueberry. It's been a couple weeks since I tasted this. It's been in bottle for a while. So let's see what we discover. It's fascinating because all of the white fruit that we associate with classic white wines in the Finger Lakes, so things like, citrus, apple, stone fruit, it's a different shade of that here. I'm not getting blueberry, but what I do find on this one is a little bit of raspberry, a little bit of maraschino cherry. It's when you open the can of maraschino cherries, if you're making a cocktail and you smell that juice, those cherries, it's in line with this. I am also getting this other sort of the classic nose here of it's summer, it's wet stone, it's a little bit of hay. There's a purity that's really coming off. And as the wine is opening a little, as I'm getting it a little bit more oxygen, all of those cursory notes are becoming much more intense. It's amazing because if I can describe it, it's like as the wine gets air, the notes get deeper and deeper, more intense. That light raspberry becomes a really ripe raspberry. Yeah, I'm also getting this aromatic profile that's in line with strawberry pie, if you've ever had kind of the sugary, dense strawberry juice that you put on top of those and bake it in. I know this wine isn't sweet, but it's that sweetness from the fruit that's really coming across. Wow. So it's interesting because on the palate, it's like strawberry and lemon juice, and not lemon juice in a bad way. It's just the acidity is a touch more elevated than you expect it to be based upon the aromatic profile. These wines change so much. There was still an herbal quality on the nose, an herbal in the sense of an herb garden you're walking by. So it's not super identifiable, maybe a touch of sage. On the palate, I don't really find that. And I used to. It's not really there anymore. It's gone much more in a fruit direction. The acid is balanced really well with the sweetness. There's a little bit of sugar in here. It's not a sweet wine. It's not a bone dry wine either. If I recall, there's probably about 8 grams per liter of residual sugar. The alcohol on this also finished right around 12.5. I think the alcohol is lending its own sense of sweetness. This wine does not smell or taste hot, though. I'll tell you what, our fan base of White Merlot lovers are going to love this vintage. I hope you do too.